Hey guys, welcome back to Mid-Level Media for my review, unboxing, and giveaway of the newly released War of the Worlds 4K released by Paramount Studios. So right here, guys, let's look at the cover on this. You got Tom Cruise, you got Dakota Fanning, you got some of the alien tripods in the background, the War of the Worlds logo right there, Tom Cruise's name, really big right there. You got some destruction down below. This is a nice image. It's kind of really muted colors, and it doesn't really pop, but it's kind of more subtle in its coloring and the way it stands out. But I do really like this cover. I think it's one of the stronger of the Tom Cruise release 4Ks that came out this week. But yeah, really cool cover. You got the features HDR high dynamic range down here. And let's go ahead and look at this spine. You have the War of the Worlds on the spine. You have the Paramount logo at the top. You have the image of Dakota and Tom right there. And down here you have 2-disc set, Ultra HD Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray logo right there. So let's go ahead and flip it to the back. And you see we have the image of one of the alien tripods. We have a couple more images right here. And as we zoom in for these special features, we have disc 1 has a 4K feature film UHD, no special features on the 4K disc. The Blu-ray feature is on disc 2 with the film and special features. So all of these special features for this release are on the Blu-ray disc. None of them are on the 4K. And if I am not mistaken, all of these special features have been previously released before for the Blu-ray. So there's nothing new here as far as special features if you already own the regular War of the Worlds Blu-ray. But let's go ahead and zoom in and show you all those. So it has Revisiting the Invasion, the H.G. Wells Legacy, Steven Spielberg, and the original War of the Worlds, Characters, The Family Unit, Provisionalization, Production Diaries, Designing the Enemy, Tripods and Aliens, Scoring, War of the Worlds, We Are Not Alone, Galleries, and Theatrical Teaser Trailers. So, and right down here you have some of the information for the film. So let's go ahead and take it out of the slipcover, guys. Right here you have the same cover on the case, the exact same spine, and the exact same back, only you have the cast list down here below. So alright guys, so let's go ahead and open this up. And right here we got the digital code, but they are also encouraging you to buy Top Gun and Days of Thunder as well on 4K, so we'll go ahead and put that to the side. And right here you got some pretty generic disc art, nothing really special, so I'm not exactly thrilled about that, but yeah, just some very generic. You got the black disc for the 4K, you got the gray disc for the Blu-ray, and that is about it. So let's go ahead and put this thing back in. Go ahead and close it up. Get it back in the slipcase. And stand by for my review and notes on the giveaway. Alright guys, thank you for sticking around for the review portion of this video, and I'm getting ready to just give my general thoughts on the film, and then I'm going to talk about some of the 4K aspects and what I thought it looked like, and then give my thoughts on a couple of the special features that I watched, and then I'm going to give you all the information on the giveaway so you can win the 4K digital code of this film. So this film is directed by Steven Spielberg, and as you can see I got one of my favorite Spielberg shirts on. So the film is directed by Steven Spielberg, and it stars Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning. And to be honest, I watched this film yesterday, and I still really enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it quite as much as I remembered when I first saw it in theaters back in 2005. I just remember it being an epic disaster film, and it is, like, without a doubt, the first 30 minutes of this film, how it builds everything up, and the aliens coming out of the ground and just disintegrating everybody, and that entire sequence when Tom Cruise is just running down the street, and of course in the famous Tom Cruise run, and everything's just getting eviscerated behind him as he runs. Like, these are some of the most incredible disaster sequences that I've ever seen on film, and it still looks great today, and that's a testament to Spielberg as a director, I think, and that's why you get a Spielberg to do this kind of film, because the way he shot some of the destruction sequences, as good as Roland Emmerich is as doing disaster flicks, you can tell a very distinct contrast between both of their filmmaking styles and how they shoot destruction. And I'm sorry, but Spielberg is just way above the level of Emmerich as far as that. And it makes me wish that Spielberg would have done more disaster flicks along this line. back in the 90s and early 2000s, because I think he would have excelled at it. So, yeah, the first 30, 45 minutes of this film are really strong. Where it starts to falter a bit for me is it gets a little slow, and some of the character decisions, I won't go too heavy into spoilers if you haven't seen this. I know it's a 15-year-old movie, but if you haven't seen this, I don't want to spoil it for you. But some of the characters make really dumb, irrational decisions. They're not operating out of logic or reason, and they get way too emotional about things way too quick. And there's a certain sequence with his son, and he gets separated from his son, and I just thought it was kind of pointless, and it didn't make a lot of sense. And then, of course, there's a lot of people talk about this, but the very memorable scene with Tim Robbins, where he invites him and Dakota Fanning into his basement, and they have a philosophical discussion about the aliens and the world and what has happened. And this goes on for way too long. This whole sequence is way too long. And there's some other stuff that happens in there, but that really just slows the film down. And even after that, as the film heads towards its finale, I didn't find it to be as interesting or exciting as the first 45 minutes. Like, it never gets back to that level again. And even in the closing and how they wrap everything up, it's not very exciting. It's not very memorable. So for me, this film has a really good, really strong, epic first 45 minutes, and then it kind of just peters out and dissolves for the duration of the film, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping that it would stick out a little bit more to me, but and then, of course, another criticism that this film gets is you got Dakota Fanning in this, a very young Dakota Fanning. She was probably at least 8 or 9 in this, maybe 10. I'm not sure, but she screams a lot in the movie. She screams a lot, cries, yells. But as a father, as somebody that has a 5-year-old and an almost 10-year-old, I can tell you that she's doing a terrific job acting. Like, because that is exactly how at least my kids would respond if something like this happened. And the way she throws like temper tantrums in the car when Tom's driving, and he's like, "You really can't do this," and he's doing the Tom Cruise thing. It's perfect. Like, it's exactly how my daughter would throw a temper tantrum. So I think she does a stellar job acting in this movie. I know it can get annoying, but I don't think it's necessarily fair to criticize her performance for that, or the direction of it, to be honest, because it made it more realistic. And another thing that I appreciate about this film, even though it does slow down and it gets a little lost and muddled in its storytelling, but is that it's shot from all the perspective of one man and his family. It doesn't really pan out and give you the world view of what's going on. It kind of reminds me of Signs, and Signs is a better movie to me, of course. I love Signs. But I think they kind of took a cue from M. Night Shyamalan and Signs. And I know the original novel was based from one person's perspective too, but not the 1950s film. It was kind of more of a Independence Day style movie where you got the war room scenes and stuff like that. And one of the special features that I'll get into, they were talking about the making of this, and they were talking about how they basically listed all of the tropes of the alien invasion genre, and they decided that they were not going to do them here. And if you can take anything away from this film, it's the fact that they absolutely succeeded in that. Because I think that through all its faults and problems that I have with it, it is very different, and it feels very different, the way it's structured, the way it's laid out, and the way it's presented to you as far as the first-person perspective. Because Signs does have that first-person perspective of the family on the farm, but that is more confined to one location, whereas this is going through the death and destruction and everything that comes with the alien invasion. It's just from the perspective of one man's family. So I do appreciate it for that aspect. But as a movie, if I'm grading this as a movie, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, which is a good movie. It is a solid movie. I have some problems just structurally, tonally with the last hour of the movie. But I mean, the first half is incredibly strong. And very, very good and exciting, and just really tense, and like you are on the edge of your seat for the first hour of this movie. But visually, guys, as far as the HDR, like, this movie looks great. There is a little bit of, and I'm pretty sure it's just the style of Spielberg in this era, between this and Minority Report. Like, there's this kind of flare aesthetic, like this lens flare aesthetic, where everybody looks like they're kind of glowing, and that goes on for like the first 30 minutes. It gets a little better as it goes on, but I watched both the Blu-ray and I watched the 4K also, And the Blu-ray is awful. Like, it looks terrible the way it shines and sheens or whatever. But the 4K, it's a lot better. It's not as exaggerated as it is in the Blu-ray, but yeah, 4K. Like, once it gets into the moments where the aliens are attacking and everything, it looks great. Like, this movie looks phenomenal on 4K. And like I said, I did watch a few of the special features, mostly just interviews on Spielberg and talking about the classic movie versus this one and what they were going for in making this movie. So there's some interesting special features for sure, but they were all, you could tell they were all done like 15 years ago. Like, there's nothing new here. So that is disappointing. I wish they could have done maybe one extra special feature for the actual 4K. But yeah, so overall, guys, that's my thoughts. As a movie, I give this an 8 out of 10. As an overall presentation, 4K presentation, as far as the disc and whether or not I think you should buy this as the complete package, I would probably also give that an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 for both from me, from the mid-level critics. So guys, now that I'm done with the review portion, I'm going to go ahead and give you details on the giveaways. So what I'm going to need you guys to do is go ahead and like this video, be a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media page, and also comment down below your thoughts on the War of the Worlds film. So I'm going to run this contest through this Saturday night at 8 p.m. After that, I will find someone who commented down below. I will pick someone at random, and it would be really helpful if you leave your Instagram handle or Twitter handle down there somewhere for me to contact you, but I will also reply to your contact or to your comment to let you know that you have won as well. But having that extra line of communication really helps with getting this code out to you guys as soon as possible. So I appreciate you guys watching the 4K review. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and comment down below. Subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time.